What is the cruelest thing you've seen a child do? I used to babysit this kid every weekend. He was 7 years old, and his parents thought he was perfect. They'd brag about how smart and creative he was to anyone who would listen, always talking about his advanced reading level and how mature he acted for his age. The first few times I watched him, everything seemed normal. He'd play with his toys, watch cartoons, eat his snacks without any trouble. But I started noticing weird things. He'd stare at bugs for way too long before crushing them slowly with his finger. Not quick like most kids do, but deliberate and focused. Then I found his ant farm in his bedroom closet. He'd been dropping different things into it every day. Sugar one day, soap the next, then tiny pieces of paper. He told me he was doing experiments to see how they'd react. The ants were all dead by the time I looked, just lying there in clumps at the bottom. His little sister was 2 years old and still learning to walk. Every time she'd get close to mastering it, he'd stick his foot out just enough to trip her. Not obvious enough for the parents to notice, but I saw it happen over and over. She'd fall down and start crying, reaching for someone to help her up. He'd comfort her afterward. He'd hug her and tell her it was okay while she cried, but I could see his face over her shoulder. He wasn't sad at all. He looked excited, like he was studying her reaction, memorizing every detail of her tears. One Saturday, his parents left for a wedding and wouldn't be back until midnight. The kids were supposed to be in bed by 8. I was watching TV downstairs when I heard crying from upstairs. Not normal crying, but screaming like someone was hurt. I found the little girl in her crib covered in red marker. It was all over her face, her clothes, her hands. She was screaming and trying to wipe it off, but it just smeared more. Her brother was sitting on his bed, drawing in a coloring book like nothing happened. He looked up at me with big, innocent eyes and said she must have gotten into his art supplies, but the marker was still in his hand. The cap was off. There were red marks on his fingers too, fresh wet marks that hadn't been there an hour ago. I cleaned her up and put her back to bed. When I came back to his room, he was gone. I found him downstairs in the kitchen, standing on a chair, reaching for something in the cabinet above the stove. The cabinet his parents always kept locked. He had a box of matches in his hand. He'd already lit one and was just holding it, watching the flame get closer to his fingers. When he saw me, he dropped it in the sink and smiled. That same excited smile I'd seen when his sister was crying. I called his parents immediately and told them to come home. I never went back to that house again. They found a new babysitter the next week, someone who didn't ask questions about their perfect little boy. 2 months later, their house burned down. The fire started in the little girl's room while everyone was sleeping. She didn't make it out.